With that, please welcome Governor Larry Hogan.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Pete, for that introduction. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you very much for being here for this historic announcement. When I ran for governor, I promised that if I were to be elected, we would take immediate steps to address our state's transportation infrastructure. After 8 years of neglect and gross mismanagement, we took action immediately, doing exactly what we said we would do. We moved to replenish the $1 billion that the legislature and the previous governor had improperly siphoned from the Transportation Trust Fund. We invested an additional $2 billion in new transportation projects. We currently have 1,073 projects totaling nearly $8 billion that are currently under construction all across the state. That has never before happened in the history of our state. It is historic and unprecedented. Our total investment in the CTP is $14.4 billion in transportation infrastructure. We are moving forward on top priority road projects in every single jurisdiction in the state. When I was sworn in last January, we inherited 65 structurally deficient bridges, and we are fixing every single one of them all across the state. There is much needed progress that the overwhelming majority of Marylanders strongly support what we're doing. Unfortunately, the legislature, led by a number of out-of-touch partisan legislators, passed horrible legislation which was drafted in secret in back rooms by lobbyists and special interest groups. They passed it without hearings or public input, and which legislators voted on with no study and very little debate. They had no idea what they were voting for, or why, or what it actually did. They didn't know who drafted the secret roadkill legislation, but they were told to vote for it and to not ask any questions. I vetoed this disgraceful legislation, which threatens to kill most of the desperately needed priority transportation projects all across the state. It usurps authority from county governments and the executive branch of state government. The legislature overrode my veto, and regrettably, this legislation is now law. But we simply cannot and will not allow misguided legislators and special interest groups to kill these desperately needed transportation projects in our state. This session, we will begin by pushing for the full and immediate repeal of this terrible legislation. Unfortunately, the same misguided lawmakers who forced through that reckless law also passed another terrible, misguided transportation bill, which threatened our priority efforts here to replace the Harry Nice Bridge. Sadly, this effort was even led by local lawmakers here in Charles County, working strongly against the overwhelming desire of their constituents. They played political games by voting to delay and to interfere and even to potentially kill our ongoing efforts to replace this bridge. In addition, they have repeatedly tried to blatantly misinform Marylanders when it comes to our administration's strong commitment to expeditiously replace the Harry Nice Memorial Bridge, which you see here behind me. But the facts are stubborn things, and these are the facts. Since taking office last January, our administration has consistently taken every single step possible to expeditiously move forward with this much-needed replacement bridge. We have already allocated more than $61 billion toward the Nice Bridge replacement for environmental studies, test borings, engineering, planning, right-of-way acquisition, and replacement designs. In June of last year, our administration, through the Board of Public Works, pushed through approval of a $15 million design and engineering contract for the replacement bridge. In spite of our strong commitment and continuing ongoing progress, the legislature passed a wildly misguided bill which arbitrarily mandated an annual spending schedule for our new bridge that in no way matched the fiscal realities of our construction plan. They set an arbitrary date of 2030, which would at a minimum delay us by at least 7 to 10 years, and which could potentially even kill our plans to construct a new bridge. I vetoed that legislation for the same reasons that I vetoed the roadkill bill, because it was intrusive, unnecessary, purely political, and counterproductive. Once again, we will not let them stop us from doing what the people want and moving forward on this project. This 75-year-old bridge has only one narrow lane in each direction, and citizens here often face up to 4-mile backups during the summer months, and more significant delays from just one disabled vehicle or during routine maintenance projects. Simply put, Marylanders deserve better. In addition to pushing for the immediate repeal of the roadkill bill, we will be pushing to sustain this veto and stop their efforts to interfere with our progress on this new bridge. From day one, we have been 100% committed to replacing the nice bridge. We have always been, and we remain fully committed to completing this project in the most affordable, most efficient, and most expeditious manner possible. Today, I am pleased to announce that our administration will be dedicating more than $760 million to fully fund a new Potomac River bridge to replace the old Nice Bridge. Using a practical design approach, we are saving more than $200 million from the previous estimates that claimed building a new bridge would cost approximately $1 billion. This design-build project is already underway and will be advertised for construction in 2018, with construction starting in 2020, and it will be completed and open to traffic in 2023, which is at least 7 years ahead of the phony schedule that legislators tried to push through last year. This new, safer, wider bridge will be built north of the current Nice Bridge. It will have 2 lanes in each direction, as well as a bike and pedestrian path. This is a critical project, and we will not let the status quo politicians stop it from moving forward. Thank you all very much for joining us today.